Columbine, 9/11, the Aurora massacre, major devastating events in our country, and all investigated by our nation's premier law enforcement agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI. We're used to their presence in national crisis, but are you aware of their involvement in crime fighting right here in Hampton Roads? What is Norfolk's FBI all about? How does it interact with the Hampton Roads community? And what information is the FBI trying to get to you so that you can remain safe? We'll get some answers from our guests, Special Agent in Charge John Boles and Community Liaison Vanessa Torres. Another View is next, right after this news from NPR.
Discussing the issues and celebrating the successes of the African American community. This is Another View.
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee, and that applause today is for Gabrielle. I was going to say Gifford, and that is not her name. Her last name is Douglas. Gabrielle Douglas, who last night made history by becoming the first African-American woman to win the gold in the women's gymnastics all-around competition. Now, it is hard to believe that in 2012, we are still talking about African-American first, but she made it, and that's a fabulous thing, and we are so proud of her. Let's listen to what Gabby had to say about her experience.
I haven't stopped smiling. I could barely sleep last night.
I bet you couldn't. 2 gold medals in 1 week. Can you even describe what it was like to be standing on that podium and hearing our national anthem?
Hearing the national anthem and, the flag raised up is definitely such an honor. And you feel so proud to represent USA and yourself and your coaches. And you just want to go out there and perform, do the best as you can. And just being on the podium is definitely an amazing feeling.
And you are the first African-American woman to get this individual all-around gold. I know that's something that's really meaningful to you.
It's so meaningful to be the first African American to win the all-around gold medal in the individual, and making the history books is definitely one of the perks, and it just feels amazing.
I heard that President Obama called you and your teammates a couple of days ago after you won Team Gold. What did he say to you? He was just telling us that he was so proud of us and keep up the good work, and we should come visit him at the White House sometime. I bet that could probably be arranged.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about last night. We were all nervous watching. You didn't seem nervous at all. How did you feel inside?
I felt very, very good, and I just want to go out there and perform as best as I could and show everyone what I was capable of doing. And I remember Challenge telling me just stay calm, just remain your focus, and the results will come up by themselves.
And that was Gabby Douglas talking this morning with Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show. And she is quite a poised young lady. So we wish them and the whole team, they are just the Fab Five. They're rock stars. And we can't wait until Gabby gets back to this area. Our very own Lisa Godley is working really hard to secure an interview with Gabby and her 2 moms. And so when she gets back to the States. So stay tuned for that. So today's topic, what comes to mind when you hear these 3 letters, FBI? Is it J. Edgar Hoover? Blue jackets with large letters emblazoned on the back? Law enforcement on a national scale? Our guests today would probably agree that all of these apply, but they want to share another side of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Please welcome my guests from the Norfolk office of the FBI, Special Agent in Charge, John Boles. Hi, John.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So glad to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
And Community Outreach and Media Specialist, Vanessa Torres. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So which of those, or do you have another description of what the FBI is, John?
Oh, I think it's all of that. And that's a wide open question. What is the FBI? What's the FBI to me? I tell you, it's when I think of the FBI, it reminds me of being a little boy watching the FBI show with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., sitting on the couch watching with my dad, and that's the day I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I look at the FBI, our motto is fidelity, bravery, integrity. That's what it means to me. Mm-hmm. It's the guys that are above reproach out there doing it every day, trying to take care. We're sworn to protect the Constitution, and I've been doing that my entire adult life. So for me, that I look at it as that way. I look at the FBI, what it means to me is the men and women of the FBI, whether it be agents or support folks.
Now, Vanessa, I know that a lot of people think of the FBI on a national scale. Yes, you have local offices, but that's because you're only working on national stuff. But you actually have a connection with Hampton Roads.
Absolutely. We have a community outreach program here in Norfolk. And it's funny that you mentioned those descriptions of the FBI, because my primary job is to demystify our agency. Most of what people hear and see about the FBI, they see it on television, on CSI, Criminal Minds, Bones.
Okay, so how close is Criminal Minds?
Well, if all of those things were true, I'd be a lot taller and a lot skinnier. So definitely we do not match all of the stereotypes that you see on television.
So you can't take that DNA sample and in 20 minutes come back and tell me who the criminal is, huh?
No, and a lot of times we do not solve a crime in 24 hours. Not saying it's impossible, but on TV they can do that, so they can keep you coming back.
So what are you doing in Hampton Roads, though, to make that connection between the FBI and our local citizens? Well,
through our community outreach program, I'm out in the community on a daily basis, building relationships, building cooperation between the FBI and the communities that we serve. Some of the ways that we do that are through youth-based programs, through educational programs. We have a program called a CREST, which is a community relations executive seminar training, a very long name. But it's a CREST program is a mini version of our Citizens Academy, and we go out into the communities, into universities and businesses, and we educate people about the FBI and what we investigate, what we don't investigate, just to let them know how to report crimes and to let them know that we are here and we are local. One of our most recent programs is a campaign known as Aware, Prepare, Prevent. It's actually started in May, and we've continued with that. We will be finishing up with that campaign in September.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, we're going to get into a deeper discussion about the APP program. As a matter of fact, let's listen to a PSA that you all have prepared for it.
Identity theft, cyberbullying, and mortgage fraud. These are just some of the crimes happening in the Norfolk area. To make sure you don't become a victim, the FBI and its partners are launching a first-of-its-kind campaign called Aware, Prepare, Prevent. Vanessa Torres, the community outreach specialist of the Norfolk FBI division, says the campaign runs through September.
We're hoping that people become educated about current threats and about how to protect their families and their businesses.
Free seminars are being held throughout the region where
people in the audience can ask our special agents questions pertaining to their presentation or even pertaining to other concerns that they may have.
FBI special agents will travel to your offices, places of worship, or colleges if you'd like to host a seminar. For more information, call 757-455-3161 or visit the FBI Norfolk website at fbi.gov/Norfolk.
John, why is it important for you to reach out to the community?
Well, there's a number of reasons why we want to do it. First of all, our job is to protect the community, but we're part of the community. So it's not, like you said earlier at the beginning of the show, where we're just some national guys who come in and go away. We live here, we work here, we raise our kids here. We're part of the community. It's all about keeping our folks safe. But one of the things that I really like about this program, and Vanessa has done a tremendous job with this, is we're in law enforcement, and part of law enforcement is being reactive. The unfortunate part of that, it means we don't get involved until it's too late. Somebody's already suffered.
Something's already happened.
Exactly right. Somebody's already been victimized. So through this program, one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish is create awareness for folks. So maybe that, I always like to meet people before bad things happen. And B, it gives them the opportunity to protect themselves, so that I'm not coming behind and saying, I wish I could get your money back for you, but the best justice I can get for you is to try to identify the person who took it and hopefully arrest and prosecute the person. It's to prevent that from ever happening. That's ultimately our goal.
So, Vanessa, what are some of the things that are happening in Hampton Roads? You're working on, I know, cyber bullying is one.
Correct.
What are some of the other ones?
Well, the APP campaign has 4 components. We have a cybersecurity component, national security, fraud, and a parental awareness component.
And did you pick those because they particularly impact Hampton Roads?
That's correct. And it's also important to mention that one of the reasons why this campaign was even started was because I was approached by one of our intelligence analysts in the office that saw some of these problems and was concerned that perhaps the community needed a little more education and awareness. And so she asked for my assistance in creating these seminars and setting them up. And so, yes, cybersecurity and parental awareness were the top 2 on our list.
Okay, parental awareness, that sounds like that's a pretty wide topic. What specifically is going on? Can you give us some examples?
The parental awareness seminar is actually the most unique seminar of the 4 that we offer. Because we have an FBI prisoner talking about innocent images, which is the program that the FBI has coined as its child pornography program. But the other 2 topics that are discussed during this seminar involve cyberbullying and gangs.
Cyberbullying when somebody's on Facebook and making threats?
Correct, right, as it pertains to children. Now, cyberbullying is actually not an FBI violation per se, but we thought since we were putting these seminars together, why don't we put something in there that is relevant to the community? And this is something that is requested quite often.
So what else? You said cyberbullying, and there was one
gangs.
other. Gangs. Okay. Now, John, it has been said in Hampton Roads many, many times, we don't have any gangs. I don't think that that's true.
I'm with you. It's funny how to respond to that. Yeah, there's always, every city, every area, everybody has their own challenges, and the Hampton Roads is no different. So there are issues that we have with gangs. We have all kinds of crime issues, and gangs is one of them. So
what are some of the things that you tell people in these seminars?
Well, under the parental awareness topic, we're looking at mainly making sure that parents are aware, I realize that's redundant, of their surroundings, what their kids are doing. So, for example, if we're looking at the innocent images or the online child exploitation, our goal is to make the parents realize that when you put that computer up in your kid's room and you don't really know what they're doing and they're just playing games, and a lot of times, I'm nearly 50 years old myself. I don't really know what my kids are into as far as what they're doing online. We're trying to break that mold, get them involved, and show them where they should be looking, the conversations they should be having with their kids, how to make their children aware of the fact that there are bad people and bad things on the internet, and what to kind of be aware of and what to report. We do the same thing with the gangs. When we discuss gangs, these are types of indicators,
colors, things that changes in behavior, that kind of thing.
Yeah, mainly as it pertains to their children. Hey, if you see all of a sudden you had a good student who's getting good grades, and all of a sudden his grades have dropped, his interest in school has dropped, maybe he's come off a sports team, whatever. He starts, truancy becomes a problem. All these things doesn't mean he's in gangs. Just means those are red flags for, as a parent, you should say, hey, you should have that discussion with your child and say, what's going on? How can I help you? There seems to be something happening in your life. And just kind of throw those flags up. We're all very busy today. And so it's a way of kind of maybe re-emphasizing with the parents, hey, these are things that, you can't look at everything. Here's some things you need to be aware of.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call. Join our conversation. We're talking with members of the Norfolk office of the FBI and about ways to keep yourself safe. So give us a call, 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Vanessa, I know that in our area also there's issues with fraud against seniors, and we have a lot of seniors who listen to our show. Can you give us some examples or a story of things you've heard in these seminars and what's going on?
Absolutely. This is part of our fraud seminar, and it's mainly geared towards seniors, but really everyone can learn to protect themselves from fraud. We focus on healthcare fraud, which primarily affects senior citizens. Healthcare fraud can occur when you're not aware of what your doctor is billing your insurance for. just very basic things that seniors should be looking out for, especially as it pertains to Medicaid. And mortgage fraud is another big thing that we're seeing here in Hampton Roads. In fact, we have quite a few cases that we've investigated as it pertains to mortgage fraud.
Can you talk a little more specifically about that?
Sure.
John?
Actually, what we're saying, if we're talking about the mortgage fraud issue, that's a cyclical event. It started with, of course, with the boom with the loans, with the high risk loans, and everybody was able to get loans that they had difficulty paying back, and so we saw a lot of mortgage fraud. And by mortgage fraud, what we're talking about is there would either be someone who's lying on their application, by ballooning up their income or their ability to pay it, and so they're not qualified for the loan, but they're posing as someone who is, or they may be in collusion with an appraiser who comes out and changes. It doesn't give a real market value, and so it changes what the loan is. But we saw quite a spike in that a few years ago, but now what we're seeing is because of the housing bust is loan and credit rehabilitation scams.
Oh, the little signs that you see on the side of the road that says we can change your credit, we can help you get a mortgage, that kind of thing.
So basically what's happening is people who fall victim to the loan rehabilitation or the credit rehabilitation scams are kind of being victimized twice, because they got hit once with the mortgage fraud. They got a loan they couldn't pay. And they may be in danger of losing their home now. So now they go to the credit rehabilitation. What it is somebody will say, "Hey, for a fee, I will do," and the schemes vary differently. But a lot of it is we'll go to the credit companies, we'll negotiate on your behalf to reduce your payments to your credit cards and whatnot. But you owe me $5,000 in order to do this. So
if somebody says to you, "You have to pay me," that should be a red flag.
Services payment up front is always an issue. Yes. There are very legitimate and very effective credit rehabilitation companies out there. So again, part of our awareness plan is just to be, know who you're dealing with and ask the questions. So if you're going to say that you're going to talk to the credit company, I want to see proof of that. I want to see results from that, because
I'm not going to pay you till after it happens.
You're right. Or we're going to go. We're negotiating it, but it's not going to be a pay-as-we-go event. Right.
And real estate investment is a big problem here in Hampton Roads. We recently had a case where a man fraudulently solicited funds from numerous investors.
So he went around saying, "I've got this property," and
he actually solicited funds in excess of $2 million. And the victims actually believed that they were investing their money in real estate projects. Okay. But obviously he was spearheading something else and doing something else with the money. So that is something that the community needs to be aware of. And that's one of the reasons why this campaign exists.
So when you're out in the community and people are attending these seminars, what are some of the questions they have? What are they asking you?
Well, they ask a lot of basic questions. During the last seminar, we had people ask questions about mortgage fraud and what they should be looking out for, and what kind of real estate agents, and how do they know that it's real. And so we have experts out there, out in the field, who are answering these questions, investigators that handle these crimes on a daily basis. I certainly wouldn't be able to answer those questions, and that's one of the reasons why we call out the subject matter experts.
So you actually have agents who go to these locations and actually discuss the various topics. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. What questions do you have about the FBI, and particularly its working within the community? There has been, John, let's talk about the FBI kind of in general, because people, as I said in the beginning, think of it more as a national organization. What does your office do? I know that's a big question, but I mean, you all are actually out investigating crimes too,
right?
But are there parameters around what you can and cannot touch?
Well, we're a federal agency, so we investigate crimes that are under the federal statutes. So, for example, we are not going to be the lead agency or even be involved in a home burglary, robbery. There are certain circumstances that we can really split hairs on how that comes to pass. But our focus is it's got to be a federal criminal violation for us to become involved.
So, okay, let me throw this at you then. So, if you're doing this mortgage fraud seminar,
right?
Okay, would you investigate the Norfolk office of the FBI a claim of mortgage fraud here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For a number of reasons. Of course, there's a federal statute specifically addressing mortgage fraud. There are a number of associated criminal violations that we typically see as well. Wire fraud, because money is being transferred across through the wires telecommunication system. Could be mail fraud if they use the U.S. mails to send their applications back and forth. There are a number of ways that we can become involved. Mortgage fraud mortgage fraud is a national issue, which is why the FBI, why there's a federal statute in the first place, which is why the FBI is involved. But even more than that, we have really great working relationships with the local police departments and sheriff's departments here. So there's a lot of mutual assistance going across, even outside of our federal jurisdiction.
So if there's a local law enforcement agency here, Norfolk Police, for example, they could call you to say, could you partner with us on a certain
they can,
case?
and if we can determine a federal nexus, then we can become involved.
Got you. Carol joins us from Hampton. Hi, Carol. You're on the air.
Hi. I have two parts. One has to do with credit card fraud, and one has to do with something we heard from a friend on the internet. Wonder if it's true.
Okay.
I'll just say that in the last 6 months, we have had credit cards having to be reissued. One, my husband's business card. Somebody put some gizmo in a gas pump, and when he was on a business trip, and stole the number. Mm-hmm. And two, with data compromised. So we've gotten 3 different new cards. That's just to ask if there's any way to prevent that. And the other is interesting in that somebody says that you need to lock your car from the inside rather than with one of the electronic things, because people could be lurking nearby and get the information how to get into your car, and then you go into a store and you come out and find things are stolen from your car.
So you're saying that if you use your electronic, your key fob to lock your car, that they're picking up that signal and being able to break into your car. All right, let's let our guests answer you. John, you want to tackle either one?
Sure. We'll start with the credit card fraud. That's a real problem, and there are a number of ways that I can't say we can eliminate it, but you can certainly protect yourself against it. You have to make sure that you're in control of your credit card. Now, we have to conduct business. You have to pay for food when you go out for the restaurant. She's going to walk away with your credit card and bring it back. There's always a risk, because what you're doing is you're handing a credit card, you're handing your personal information to someone, and you're losing sight of it. That's why I recommend using a credit card, because if you find a fraudulent charge, the credit card will refund that and you're not responsible for it. Mm-hmm. Much more so than, for example, paying with a debit card, because a debit card comes directly from your personal money. Yeah. And once it's gone, and the bank has no liability or no responsibility for that money. But if it goes off your credit card, they will reverse the charges. Mm-hmm. And actually, the merchant is the one who is responsible for the pay.
The other thing that she also mentioned was the device. She mentioned that her husband had to change the credit card outright. This is known as skimming fraud, and it's something that takes place quite often here in Hampton Roads. In fact, we were known as the next to the largest skimming fraud area, next to Miami.
You think that's because we have so many tourists?
I believe that could be part of the problem. Mm-hmm. But the way that works is that devices are actually installed either on ATM machines or on the gas pumps. And one way to reduce this type of crime is to use your credit card as credit. When you go to the gas pump, use your debit card as credit. Use your debit card as credit. Do not punch in your code, because a lot of times these devices also have a camera installed where they can actually steal your PIN number.
So they can see you punching in your number.
Yes. So it actually sounds like the first incident she described was a skimming fraud incident.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Is there any way to tell if you go up to a pump that it's been tampered with?
Well, I tell you, if you don't look at it very, very closely, they now have skimming devices that are amazingly accurate, that look just like whatever device they're attached to. One of the guys came and spoke at our last APP, says one of the things that he does is he goes up and he shakes on the place where you insert your card, the receptacle, and if it comes off, it's probably not real.
You think?
You're right. But the other issue we have with skimming is you can buy them online. They're legitimate devices. A lot of traveling salesmen use it because it's how they make their payment. It fits right in your pocket. So it's called double swiping. So somebody can do that. Mm-hmm. So what you can do, you can't really prevent it if somebody's going to do that when they swipe your card. You got to pay unless you're going to carry around cash all the time. But you have to check your bills monthly. You have a lot of times folks just pay their bills and send their check because as
long as the amount is around what they think it is,
maybe
anyway.
It hurts too much to actually look at the total, so they don't want to check it. But if you have to check your bill and then dispute any what you think may be fraudulent charges against your card, and the credit card companies are actually good about investigating that.
Mm-hmm. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Norfolk's FBI with Special Agent in Charge John Boles and Community Outreach and Media Specialist Vanessa Torres. The number to call to join our conversation is 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 if you have any questions for the FBI.
And I'm sorry,
go ahead.
If I could, I didn't get a chance to talk about Carol's issue with the
about the key fob.
Getting into the key fob.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I haven't heard that. I'm not really sure. I think that may be an internet rumor. Yes, you can, because when you push that button, you do transmit data, and you can intercept that. However, if you lock your car manually, you can still pop it with your key fob. So I think that may be an internet rumor, and I don't have any answers for that.
And that's also a local law enforcement issue
as well. Okay. Frank joins us from the Northern Neck. Hi, Frank. You're on the air.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, Frank.
I just, as a victim of some of the things that you guys were talking about this evening, trying to figure out if there any recourse. And of course, they sold their business, and then
hold on. Just describe for us what happened to you.
Well, I fell behind in my mortgage, and because of my wife was sick, and I tried to get the refinance, and the company represented itself as being able to do that. And after making 2 payments, I was still getting notices from the mortgage company. And since that time, it's been a little bit over a year, I hadn't heard anything from them,
Okay, let's let Special Agent in Charge Boles answer that question for you.
Frank, I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. Not knowing a lot of the details, I'm going to ask you to give a call into our office, and we'll get your information and have one of my guys who specializes in white-collar crime and mortgage fraud take a look at the details. We can maybe talk more offline, but that's really the only thing I can ask you to do. Is there recourse? Yes. And if you've been a victim of mortgage fraud or any other kind of scams, we can certainly get involved in that and look at it. A lot of times it comes down to how much money are we talking? What was the loss? But there are a lot. I definitely want to hear from you guys. So please do me a favor and when you get offline, give a call into our office and ask to speak to the complaint agent.
You want to give the phone number?
Sure. That's area code 757. You know what? It just dawned on me. All I know is my direct line. What's our
455-0100.
455-0100.
I just sent a message to the office letting them know to expect some calls as a result of this show. So,
okay, yes. Frank, we hope that works out for you. Did you get the number? If not, we'll have it on our website also. But it is, say it again, Vanessa, please.
455-0100.
455-0100. Good luck to you. Thanks so much for your call. We appreciate it. Kevin joins us from Richmond. Hi, Kevin. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes.
You're on the air.
Okay. What I was calling regarding was I purchased some tickets for an event in Richmond online. The company that I purchased the ticket from was out of California. I was told that the value of the tickets were approximately $125. I don't recall the exact amount. But when the tickets were mailed to me, the actual ticket value price was like somewhere in the neighborhood of $85. And the issue that I had was when I called the company, they said, well, that's just, the way it is. You can sell those tickets and make more money for them. So I called my credit card company and told them that I thought that there was some instance of fraud here. And they investigated it, and they were unable to do anything to help me, as well as I called the state investigative service that deals with that, and they were unable to help me as well. So I was just trying to figure out if there's something that, can be done, or, something for other people that maybe run into this. They'll know what to do when that happens.
Okay.
Kevin, I'm again, I'd have to have some more details on this, but one of the things you have to be aware of when you're buying tickets online, you've probably done it once or twice before, is there is a convenience charge attached, and those can be quite high. And if you go through some of these, for example, if you go to some of the online places for sporting events, they seldom sell them at face value. So it's whatever you've agreed to pay. If it depends on what. So
the ticket could cost one thing, but then they charge a convenience fee on top of that, and that is legal.
That's legal,
and there is no cap on how much that can be.
Right, because and I can't speak state to state as to what the cap could be online, but there is a convenience fee charged because that's how they make their profit. It doesn't have to be sold at face value. So I would recommend you go back and check both your receipt and the web page on that before you refer that up. That may be what the problem is.
Mm-hmm. And it also sounds like he's internet savvy, which is good because that means that he would have no problem making sure that he's making purchases from a reputable source, which is one of the things that we recommend. So, Frank, if you could do your homework on the individual or the company just to make sure that they are legitimate. Unfortunately, it's too late this time, but next time you may be able to check on other sites where maybe others have reported problems with that particular company or that particular website. And if that's the case, you'll know not to use them.
Okay. Thanks so much, Kevin, for your call. We appreciate that. Shalindro joins us from Virginia Beach. I hope I said your name properly.
Yeah, this is Shalindra.
Okay. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to comment on one of the points that, a few weeks ago I had 3 charges on my credit card, which were basically done by someone in Las Vegas while I was here in Hampton Roads. So it's just wanted to mention and stress the importance of checking the bills. As soon as I saw them, I called my credit card company and they canceled the charges.
Great.
Yeah, that's exactly what we ask everybody to do. So well done there.
Thanks so much for sharing. We appreciate your call. Jan is going to take us, I think, in a little bit of a different direction. She's calling from Virginia Beach. Hi, Jan. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Okay. What's your question today?
Well, I teach for Tidewater Community College and for Old Dominion University, and frequently in the course of classroom discussion, we talk about preparation for different careers. So what would be a good path for even a high school senior or certainly college student to pursue if they wish to work for the FBI? And I would love it if you'd manage to incorporate a little bit about how they might plan their own personal use of the Internet to make them more attractive, or at least not unattractive to employment with the FBI.
Right.
Thanks so much for that call, Jan. Go ahead, John, and then I'll get to you, Vanessa.
Jan, I see where you're going. Okay, for education-wise, here it depends on what career path you choose in the Bureau. If you're looking to be a special agent, which a lot of times when we have these discussions, that's what people are talking about just because they're the folks in the news. All special agents have to have at a minimum a 4-year bachelor's degree. It can be in any subject, any discipline.
So it doesn't have to be law enforcement related.
No, and in fact, you know what? We're looking for folks who aren't inside law enforcement. We're looking for, if you're looking to separate yourself and become more attractive, we're looking at the hard sciences, computer science, languages, especially the esoteric languages. But if you have a proficiency in a foreign language, that helps quite a bit. And
legal.
Yeah, well, of course, the old career paths were accounting and attorneys, and so you have to. For the basic is you have to have a 4-year degree with 3 years full-time work experience, and in any field.
Okay,
but it's got to be 3 years full-time paid work experience. So internships and so forth don't count. However, if you have certain skill sets, if you have an advanced degree, then we'll waive one of the years, and you have to have 2 years of work experience. For the professional support, it's a high school degree, high school diploma, and as
Give
the
me an
minimum.
example of a professional support person. What kind of job would they do?
For example, Vanessa is professional support. Our staff, we're basically split into I'll call it 2.5 categories. We have the agents that everybody thinks about, with the guys with the guns. Okay, so those are agents. And then
the guys and the women with the guns?
That's correct.
Yes. Well put. Well played, Barbara. Well played. The folks with the guns.
The folks with the guns.
Okay, those are the agents that are the ones that have the requirement I talked about. We also, it then goes into professional staff. So those are the folks who are non-sworn. And inside of that career path, it's everything that you can imagine. You have people who have jobs like Vanessa, who's community outreach. We have our logistics people. We have secretaries. We have clerical. We have scientists. We have computer scientists. We have forensic accountants. We have intelligence analysts who their job is to review all the data that we collect and make our reports, and they're the ones who drive our operations forward on strategically. So it's a wide range of job careers and paths. Now, getting to Jen's other thing, what would I recommend for folks to if they're looking for a career in the Bureau? Educationally, I would say find the education that you truly enjoy. Find your calling. It's difficult to get in the Bureau, so I tell folks, if you are hoping to become an FBI agent, for example, and you're going to major in, let's say, criminal justice because you think that's your way in, but your heart is really in philosophy.
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart, because you know what? You're going to be better at that job, and that makes you more attractive and it separates you from the pack is coming to the Bureau. Getting to the personal responsibility that she was talking about, Facebook and these other social networking sites, they're great, but you have to be careful what you put out there, because we do very thorough and extensive background checks. For a number of reasons.
So if someone wants to become an agent, do you actually go knock on the doors of their neighbors from when they were 10 years old?
Even non-agents, they will do that too.
If you're going to work for us, because we all carry security clearances, if you're going to work in the Bureau, everybody gets an extensive background check to include polygraph exams and talking to everyone you've ever known. So and now, with all the information that's out there, we're not searching the social media sites. But if I talk to your friend who says, "Hey, let me show you this picture," it's not particularly flattering. It's that. So my recommendation to the college kids and to the high school students, my kids included, be very careful with that stuff.
Jan, I hope that answers your questions. Thanks so much for calling us. You made a statement, John. You said it's not easy to get into the FBI. Is that because of how extensive the background check is, or is it difficult because you have testing? Tell us about that process a little bit.
Okay. Again, in this case, we'll be talking about the agent.
The agents. Yeah. Let's pick the agent role.
Okay. There's a number of reasons why it's difficult. For example, we just opened up hiring on August 1st. So that was Wednesday. It's a short window. If anybody's interested, then go to FBIjobs.gov online and apply. We're looking at approximately 400 agent positions next year to hire. We will get approximately 18,000 applications. So they're in.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about. That it makes it's difficult to get in. And I'm telling you that the folks that I see applying now, the men and women, come from all different walks of life, and the skill sets that they have. I'm not really sure I could get in. Today it's very competitive. So what happens is you go online, you put your application in. If you meet the basic requirements, which is to be a U.S. citizen with a 4-year degree, 3 years work experience, then you're afforded what we call the Phase 1 test. It's a standardized test, similar but not exactly to the SAT, ACT type test. If you pass that test, then you come in. We have a meeting. We sit down. It's called a meet and greet. Those folks are then pushed on to Phase 2. And Phase 2 is where the background check begins. They go through an interview process, a writing exercise, and then a fit test. And then when it's all said and done, when we've all been successful, it takes about a year to a year and 3 months to go start to finish.
Wow, that's a long time.
And one of the things, too, is that in order to be eligible for a special agent position, you have to be between the ages of 23 and 37. I would like to give this message to Miss Jan, who called just a few minutes ago. We are also able to come out to your school to talk to the students about these things and to also talk to them about making positive choices. Because a lot of them think, oh, okay, cool, I can just get my 4-year degree. I'm between the age of 23 and 37, but there's a lot more involved in terms of your background, even your credit. So we do come out to the schools. That's part of our outreach program, and we talk to the students and answer questions.
Vanessa, I want to ask you a question because, minority communities, and kind of making a blanket statement, but in terms of the trust factor of law enforcement, it really is a problem, particularly in minority communities. Do you think that the community work that you're doing is helping to change that? Are we changing attitudes generationally?
I believe that our community outreach program does have a strong impact into the minority community, but the impact does not and will not occur overnight. This is a very slow process. This community outreach program has only been active here in Norfolk for 4 years, so it's quite new to the community, and we haven't reached every city that we're in charge of. So with time and with word of mouth and referrals, we can make it out, and we can continue to make a footprint in the community. But again, this is a very slow process because people have to earn trust, and that's what we're trying to do.
And I know, John, on a national scale, the community outreach, there's an office within the national office of the FBI. So is this also from a top-down perspective, I guess, an opportunity to try to change some perceptions in the communities?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you that it's so important to the Bureau in general and to the director specifically that community outreach has its own assistant director. So it's part of our Office of Public Affairs, and so it as an assistant director, it's high up in our bureau hierarchy. So it gets a lot of attention, a lot of view, and it is our goal. Again, our core values are to treat everyone that we deal with respect, and this is part of that. One of the things that we're charged with doing, of course, is investigating and protecting civil rights. So this is part of our mission as we go out and our community outreach is to let folks know that when you see the tall guy or the athletic woman in the dark suit with the dark shades knocking on your door, we're actually coming for help. We're actually coming to ask, hey, how can we help you? How can we protect you and your community? What do you see that we don't necessarily see because we can't be everywhere at once. Nobody wants us to be. So our question is, hey, how can we reach into your community? What does your community need from us? And how can we help with that?
A lot of times we focus, Barbara, on how we're different. We can talk all day about our differences, our skin colors, our backgrounds, where we live, but with this outreach program, we want the community to focus on ways that we are alike. We want people to know that we are just as concerned about the community as they are. We all live in the same communities. Our children go to the same schools. So we want to focus on those things that we have in common. And, slowly we will start breaking down the barriers that exist.
We were joking at the top of the show, but we really do have the rainbow in the studio today.
Yes, and I'm trying not to speak with my hands. It's so hard.
Oh, gosh, definitely. Is there a right attitude that a person has had? I know you talked about the educational part and so forth, but John, as you're looking at your staff and so forth, is there an FBI attitude?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Vanessa will vouch for this. It's all about get it done. It's all about dedication to duty. I will tell you, for example, this is since I've been in the Bureau, this is my 6th office. And so I transfer fairly regularly. We, as an FBI agent, we're required to work 50-hour weeks. I would kill for a 50-hour week. There are a lot of sacrifices that go in to anybody who's in the public service, whether it be the military or law enforcement, federal law enforcement. So when we look at who are we looking for in the FBI, it's got to be somebody who says, I can get that done. Give me the mission, I'll go get it done. I'll make whatever it takes. And then with that drive, there also has to be a pretty strong sense of moral compass. We're doing it for the right reason. And it really is about, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm doing it because I'm trying to look out for my community. So you'll find that they actually do demographic studies on us from time to time. And a lot of times for the agents, it's the common characteristic that runs through it is firstborns, or or older brothers and sisters. I'll tell you, I'm the anomaly. I'm the last of five. But it's a lot of people who are in positions growing up used to taking care of others, wanting to take on the responsibility, and now because of demographics changing in the country as well, we're starting to see a lot of especially firstborn from people with non-traditional families. Mm-hmm. Having to shoulder the load. So those are the guys and women that we're looking for. Is who's willing to step in and handle the ball.
Okay.
And by the way, this month we're actually celebrating female agents.
Yes.
Female agents are very important to the Bureau. In fact, the first female agent came into the Bureau in 1972, and they are held accountable in the same way that the male agents are too. And they go through the same training.
Okay, and we, on that note, have to go because we're out of time.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll be right back. Hang on. Oh, a little humor in the music there. Come on, we had to do the Criminal Minds theme music. Of course we did. They took America by storm in the late 1980s. Now the Grammy Award-winning a cappella singing group Take Six is soon to celebrate 25 years in the music business. Our Lisa Godley recently spoke with the group's founder, Claude McKnight, about the group's longevity, their musical flexibility, and their upcoming visit to Hampton Roads.
There's a new sun rising. I can see a new horizon. You will keep me realizing.
It's hard to believe that almost 25 years have passed since Take Six captured our attention with their harmonious sound. Over the years, they've recorded 10 albums, netted 10 Grammys, and performed with music legends like Ella Fitzgerald, Quincy Jones, and Stevie Wonder. So I asked the man responsible for bringing the talented sextet together, Claude McKnight, who was his favorite artist to work with.
I would have to say the many times that we've worked with Stevie Wonder, each time is better. You know, it's different and better than the last. So probably our collaborations with him have been some of my favorite work that we've done. And then again, to reiterate, working with Quincy is an incredible experience because you realize that here is a man who's been in this business for 60 years or so now. And he's worked with everyone from, you know, the old classic jazz artists up till today's hip hop artists. So, and he's the kind of guy and the kind of producer that allows the best to come out of you.
McKnight is the brother of singer Brian McKnight. He formed the group in 1980. Back then, there were only 4 members. All were students at Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama, and they called themselves the Gentleman's Estate Quartet. The 4 were soon joined by Mark Kibble and Mervyn Warren, and the Take Six sound was born. But the name was not. They called themselves Alliance. 3 members of the group left after graduation. That's when Alvin Shea, Cedric Dent, and David Thomas joined the group. It wasn't until they signed with Warner Brothers in 1987 that they discovered the name Alliance was already being used. As a result, they chose Take Six. During the group's 25-year history, they've covered a broad cross-section of music, not only gospel, but jazz, R&B, and pop.
Now, Take Six performs so many different genres of music. What's your favorite?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, I think because there are 6 guys in the group and we tend to do harmonies that are more in the jazz genre, that's probably my favorite.
McKnight says the secret to their longevity, first and foremost, is that they've always considered their craft a ministry.
So no matter what genre of music we dabble in, it's always been something that, from a spiritual standpoint, has been bigger than us. So we try to stay out of the way as far as that's concerned. Now, from a human standpoint, And just from an emotional standpoint, you have to like and love each other.
I asked Claude McKnight what Hampton Roads can expect when Take Six performs with the Virginia Symphony in September.
They can expect to get the same kind of energy that we do in our a cappella shows, just adding more instrumentation around it. I think it's a really great experience, and we've had a lot of really positive and great feedback on it, because sometimes you don't know when you go outside of what it is that people know you to do, if they're going to really enjoy this new thing, in quotation marks. But I think for us, because we're always trying to push our own boundaries, we try to push the boundaries for our audience as well.
He offers this advice to anyone interested in pursuing a career in music.
Don't do it because you want to make money. Don't do it because you want to make hits, because you want to be popular or whatever it is. Do it because you love doing music. That way, you will continue to learn your craft. At the same time, if you love it, it's never going to be a job. It's always going to be something that continues to give back to you.
For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.
And Take Six performs with the Virginia Symphony on September 22nd at Chrysler Hall, and it should be an amazing concert. Time now for things to view and do in Hampton Roads.
You will be my Saturday love.
Job seekers, heads up. The Newport News Department of Human Services Employment Services Division is hosting a job fair on Tuesday, August 7th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Brittenham Midtown Community Center, McLawnhorn Drive, Newport News. 22 major companies that are hiring or will hire soon will be represented. Bring your resumes and dress professionally. To find out more, call 926-6510. Looking for fun activities for your young ones? Check out Wacky Wednesday on August 8th from 10:30 until 11:45 in the morning. It's storytelling, magic, games, songs, and more. It's at the Peninsula Fine Arts Center, Museum Drive in Newport News. Call 596-8175 for more information. Teens with a Purpose invites you to attend their celebrity benefit basketball game Saturday, August 11th from 4 until 7 p.m. at Booker T. Washington High School in Norfolk. Come hang out with celebrities and athletes, plus music, prizes, and more. Proceeds help with peer-led programs provided by Teens with a Purpose. Tickets are available. For more information, visit teenswithapurpose.org. The Independence Center in Norfolk is hosting a screening of the documentary Not Home by award-winning independent filmmaker Narcelle Reedus. It's Saturday, August 11th at the Independence Center, Virginia Beach Boulevard, Norfolk. This film chronicles the national phenomenon of children with developmental disabilities living in nursing facilities and state-run institutions. It features the story of Quali, a young Norfolk resident who spent the first 6 years of his life living in Lake Taylor. The screening is free and open to the public. And finally, you're invited to the closing of the art exhibit My Mechanical Heart, dedicated to civil rights pioneer Ann Dearsley Vernon. It's August 11th from 7 to 9 at the Mayer Fine Arts Gallery. August 11 marks the first anniversary of Anne receiving her mechanical heart and features artwork by her and other local artists. So come join the celebration. You can find these and other programs on our website, anotherviewradio.org. Thank you for joining us today. For Lisa Godley, audio engineer Perry Smith, Danny Epperson, who answered our phones, I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Let's get together again next Friday at noon for Another View.